Hola a todos, ¿qué tal? Este PowerPoint es un repaso de la hora, los días de la semana y también un poco de práctica con los verbos y las preguntas. First of all, a little review. ¿Dónde estás? And if you were in my face-to-face class, you would do this real quick with me or with a partner. ¿Dónde estás los lunes a las 9 de la mañana? ¿Dónde estás los lunes a las 9 de la mañana? Estoy en casa. Estoy en clase. Estoy en la cafetería. Estoy en el coche, en el carro. Many of those things could work. ¿Dónde estás los jueves a las 8 de la noche? Estoy en un restaurante. Estoy en la residencia. Estoy en la cafetería. Estoy en mi café favorito. Estoy en una fiesta con mis amigos. Los domingos a las 10 de la mañana. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Estás en casa? Puedes decir estoy en casa, estoy en la iglesia. If you go to church, that is la iglesia, where you might be on a Sunday, un domingo, a las 10 de la mañana. Si estás en la cama, you might be still in bed on Sunday at 10 in the morning. Estoy en la cama. Los sábados a las 6 de la mañana. Probablemente estás en tu casa. Estoy en mi casa, estoy en la cama. Los miércoles al mediodía, ¿dónde estás? Yo estoy en el campus, estoy en la universidad. So all of these questions will use the verb estoy in your response because you're telling about where you are. Remember, we use the verb soy to talk about who you are. We use soy to talk about descriptive words, which we will get to. Actually, we'll get to very soon when we talk about family, la familia. But estar, we always use when we're talking about our health and our location. Okay, vamos a pasarnos a esta actividad. This is out of your book, El Blog de Diana. So take a few minutes to think about the answers to these. You can pause this video, and then when you're finished, just return to it, because I'm about to go over your answers. En un día típico, yo regreso. Oh, no regreso, yo llego a la universidad a las 9. Llego porque llegar significa to arrive. If I said yo regreso a la universidad, grammatically that would be correct, but as far as the sentence itself and what it means, it wouldn't make sense. That would be I return to the university at 9 instead of I get to the university at 9. So again, that is llego. Mis compañeros y yo, pasar o trabajar. La mañana en clase. Mis compañeros y yo, that indicates a nosotros form. So we're going to use the verb pasar en nosotros. So mis compañeros y yo pasamos la mañana en clase. We spend the morning in class. En clase nosotros estudiamos la gramática. Yo tomo muchos apuntes. Notes, apuntes are notes en esa clase porque el profesor Cruz es muy exigente. Remember, the verb ser is completely irregular. It doesn't follow any of these rules that the AR verbs follow. Exigente significa demanding, strict, estricto. A las 11 yo voy a la clase de cultura española con la profesora Sánchez. Remember, your forms of the verb ir are also highly irregular. The infinitive ir looks nothing like its forms. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, y van. Another hint that it has to be voy, or some form of ir, is this little word a. A in Spanish means to. The only time it means at is when you're telling time. If you wanted to say, I work at Walmart, or I work at the library, we would actually have to use the word en. But for to go to, we will use the word a, voy a. Ella, as in la profesora Sánchez, ella habla mucho de la historia de España. Ella habla mucho de. To talk about something is hablar de algo. Es muy interesante. Por la tarde, normalmente yo paso el rato con mis amigos, con amigos. Pasar el rato is an idiomatic expression that means to spend time or to hang out. Normalmente, you'll notice in Spanish that we have a lot of words ending in mente, and this mente suffix directly translates and directly corresponds to the English ly. So typically, normally, generally, normalmente, generalmente, and lots of others, the same type. Okay, so now let's look at question formation. Formación de preguntas, question formation. This is actually a really fun and easy aspect of Spanish because when we want to ask a yes or no question, we have one really easy way to do it, which is just to change our intonation and add these question marks. We have in Spanish an initial upside down question mark that tells us, hey, there's a question coming up. And then we have the normal end of question mark. So let's try it with this. A statement, and if you've seen this cartoon, in Spanish, en español, este personaje se llama Calamardo. This character is called Calamardo, which is kind of a play on the word calamar, which you might relate to the word calamari in English. If you've ever eaten those little squid rings, those are calamari. So Calamardo toca el clarinete. This is a statement. If I want to make it a question, does he play the clarinet? One easy way to do that is just to change my intonation. Calamardo toca el clarinete. See what I did there? All I did was make my voice rise at the end of the sentence. If I were writing this, however, I would have to put an upside down exclamation mark at the beginning and a regular one at the end. If you're using a Mac, it's super easy to put these upside down marks and super easy to put accents. All you do is hit the little option key that's on the bottom of your keyboard to the left, and then you hit the question mark button. Well, I lied. I thought it was that easy. Maybe it's Option Shift. Yeah, that's what it is. You do Option Shift, hold those, and then click the question mark. And then you will get that upside down question mark. Okay, so let's look at the second way to do it. We can also make a question by flipping the order of the words, putting the verb first. The verb here is toca. So we're going to move toca to the first place in the sentence. Toca Calamardo el clarinete. And you know what? We can even move his name. He's the subject of the sentence. We can even move his name all the way to the end. Toca el clarinete Calamardo. So Spanish is more flexible with its word order than English. And then our last way to do this is to make a statement like we had originally. Subject, verb, and then your object. And at the end, add this little question. This is what we call a tag question. In English, these things would be like saying right or doesn't he? Calamardo, Squidward, plays the clarinet, doesn't he? We could say Calamardo toca el clarinete, no? Calamardo toca el clarinete, ¿verdad? So no is like doesn't he, and verdad is like right. Literally, verdad means true. So those are three ways of making a yes-no question. Vamos a practicar con esto. So create questions out of the following. We have tocar un instrumento. If you want to think about it, you can pause the video and restart it once you have your answers. You can feel free to do that. I'm going to create a yes-no question with this. So if I were to talk to you in person and ask you, do you play an instrument? I would ask you, ¿tocas un instrumento? Okay? Now, let's say I want to ask my entire class, who plays an instrument? Then I would have to use a question word. But let's not get into that right now. Let's do something else. Let's say I have a student named Roberto, and I'm pretty sure that he plays an instrument. I could say, Roberto toca un instrumento, ¿verdad? But I'm not sure if Lucy plays an instrument. I could say, toca Lucy un instrumento, or put Lucy's name at the end. Toca un instrumento, Lucy. Practicar un deporte. Let's do the exact same thing. So how about do y'all practice a sport? Do y'all play a sport? For my form of y'all, I can use my Spain vosotros form. I can also use the form ustedes. Ustedes is understood in the entire Spanish-speaking world. So I'm going to use ustedes and say practican un deporte. Now we can leave it at that, but if I really want to emphasize, I mean y'all and not somebody else, I can use the word ustedes in the sentence. Practican un deporte ustedes, or practican ustedes un deporte. What if I'm pretty sure y'all play a sport, and I want to say, y'all play a sport, don't you? Then I write it as if it were a sentence, a declarative sentence, ustedes practican un deporte, and I can add something on the end, like no. So, ustedes practican un deporte, no? And since I used Calamardo as my example character in that other slide, I'm going to use Bob Esponja, which is the name of the show in Spanish, as an example. How about the kids? The kids watch Bob Esponja, don't they? Los niños miran Bob Esponja. ¿verdad? But what if I want to ask if Mariela watches Bob Esponja? I could say, mira, Mariela, Bob Esponja. Mira, Bob Esponja, Mariela. You get the idea. Tomar café todos los días. Let's say I'm talking to you in a tú form. All you have to do is switch your verb tomar to the tú form. Tomas. Tomas café todos los días. And then trabajar en la universidad. I could say, let's say I want to talk about Juan y Felipe. Juan y Felipe, and I don't know if they work at the university. So I could say, I could actually use the same word order and just make it sound like a question. So, Felipe y Juan trabajan en la universidad. That's your normal word order, just change your intonation. Trabajan en la universidad, Felipe y Juan. Trabajan Felipe y Juan en la universidad. You get the idea. We can move around our subjects a lot in Spanish. Lastly, I want to mention I want to mention a few really important words that we'll hear a lot in Spanish. Talk about frequency, how often you do something. ¿Con qué frecuencia? ¿Con qué frecuencia means how often, or often if you pronounce the T in often. Palabras de frecuencia, siempre, a veces y nunca. Siempre, always, a veces, sometimes, nunca, never. So think about these following sentences and what is true for you. Estudio para mis clases. Let's say you always study for your classes. Siempre estudio para mis clases. The word order is pretty much the same as English. We can put siempre first. We can put siempre last. But it sounds good here, I think. Siempre estudio. Voy al gimnasio. Let's say I sometimes go to the gym. A veces voy al gimnasio. We could also put a veces at the end. Voy al gimnasio a veces. Paso tiempo en un café. Let's say you never spend time at a cafe. You could say nunca. And careful here because you can put it both places, but if you start the sentence with nunca, you don't have to do anything else to the sentence. It's easy. But if you want to end your sentence with nunca, I'll show you how to do that. If you end your sentence with nunca, paso tiempo en un café, nunca, we need this double negation in Spanish, a double negative. We've always learned in English class that double negatives are incorrect. They make a sentence wrong. But in Spanish, actually, we use them and they are correct. In fact, paso tiempo en un café nunca just sounds really wrong in Spanish. We have to put a no first. No paso tiempo en un café nunca. Or no paso nunca tiempo en un café. The nunca actually works better with... this would work better with número 4. Llamo a mis padres. I call my parents. Let's say you never call your parents. Nunca. Nunca llamo a mis padres. Or no llamo a mis padres nunca. See the idea? Bailo con amigos. Let's say I always dance. Siempre bailo con amigos. If you never dance, nunca bailo. And if you really want to emphasize you never, ever, ever dance, no bailo nunca. Okay, pues muy bien. I don't want to make this video too long, so hopefully that was helpful. A quick recap of how we form our questions. First, we just read it like a sentence, but we change our intonation to sound like a question. We write our upside down question mark at the beginning of the phrase and our regular one at the end. The second way to do it is we take our verb. Remember, our verb is the thing that changes. So if I had made this yo instead of calamardo, this verb would have to go to toco. So put that first, and then move your subject afterwards. And then the third way to do it is if we're pretty sure we know the answer to the statement, we just want to say, hey, he plays the clarinet, doesn't he? Then we can make it a statement, just like we have here, and then tag on this little question, verdad or no. Hope this was helpful to y'all. Have a great week. Buena suerte con todo. Good luck with everything. Y hasta luego. Adiós.